Remember when there was a puppet convention for Christians?
God is good, call me on Pastor what? God is good, call me.
Let's go back.
Tamagotchi,
of Y2K.
I'm back with a brand new channel surfing video. If you're new to the channel, this is where we take a look back at some of the most obscure nostalgia clips that weren't long enough to warrant an entire video about them. Sit back and enjoy as I take you back through the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Let the channel surfing begin.
Damn, yo, look at her cans, yo!
What's the matter with you?
Oh, there you go. Work for that dollar. You know you want it.
And what she's wearing is completely wrong. She's a classic spoon, and although these riding pants may be hip, they're way too hip for a spoon.
This is direct from what we call the funk house.
What's going on here?
Welcome to 1994 and MTV's 4th annual Rock and Jock Softball Challenge. This was a yearly event put on by MTV where athletes, actors, and musicians showcased their athletic skills in events like bowling, basketball, and in this case, softball. With baseball players like Barry Bonds and Jose Canseco, and musicians like Bret Michaels and Flavor Flav, they're really lucky there wasn't any drug testing before the game. It's also notable to point out that this year in particular is an interesting one because this was also the same year as the MLB player strike. Anyway, let's take a look at the starting lineups. The first team is called the Away Boys, which is really just a name so that they could name the other team the Home Boys. The team manager is Dan Cortez, who will also be playing in the game. As I mentioned before, we have Bret Michaels from Poison, or Rock of Love depending on which generation you grew up in, outfielder David Justice of the Braves, first baseman Frank Thomas of the White Sox, a man who will surely not ruin his career, Seinfeld's Michael Richards, outfielder Barry Bonds of the Giants, third baseman Robin Ventura also from the White Sox, Salt Peppa and Spinderella all count as one player for some reason, as you'll see later on. Pitcher Roger McDowell of the Dodgers is dressed like this, which could just be a side effect of the steroids. Finally, we have Frank Zappa's son Dweezil and actor William Ragsdale, who was one of the only people I didn't know. Apparently he was on the show Herman's Head at the time, so shout out to anyone who watched that. Next up are the Homeboys, with actor Corbin Burnson sitting in as manager and player. At this point in time he was on LA Law, but I'll always know him as Sean's dad on Psych. His starting lineup consists of Public Enemy's Chuck D, outfielder Ken Griffey Jr. from the Mariners, or from Super Nintendo's Ken Griffey Jr.'s Major League Baseball, outfielder for the Rangers and later star of The Surreal Life, Jose Canseco. Next up is some indie artist. Let me see if I can pronounce his name correctly here. It's, John Bon Jovi. Yeah, that sounds right. I can't wait to read the comments on that one. Then we have outfielder Gary Sheffield of the Marlins, Naughty by Nature's Tretch, outfielder Brady Anderson of the Orioles, Anthrax's Scott Ian, Mets pitcher Dwight Gooden, and last but certainly not least, Public Enemy's Flavor Flav. This softball game is a bit different though, as there are targets on the field which actually don't come into play at all. This game also features Anna Nicole Smith, who at the time was probably thinking she was on a different planet. God, this game features so many people that have injected themselves with some sort of substance that it should be sponsored by a pharmacy. Now let's take a look at the highlights of the game. Not a lot happens in the first few innings. Frank Thomas gets a single, Bon Jovi comes in to pitch to Barry Bonds since it was a dream of his, and it should be an out for Bon Jovi, but Chuck D's pass to Gooden is dropped. But then Ventura grounds out to end the inning. It's 0-0 after 1, and the second inning doesn't have a lot of action either. Bon Jovi bunts to get on base, Brady pops out after coming out to the Brady Bunch theme song, and the infield comes in for Peppa, but she still gets on base as Canseco drops the ball. Then for some reason Salt, Peppa, and Spinderella count as one runner and stay together on first. But still all three of them are thrown out at home later on to end the second inning at 0-0. To get the scoring going in the third inning, they put 3 women in black dresses and high heels to load the bases at the start. Corbin Burnson sits on a life chair with a stoplight to let the ladies know when to run and when to stop because they didn't bother to learn the rules of baseball. The game is so exciting at this point that we have Michael Richards barbecuing on the sideline and breaking some food and health safety rules. Dwight Gooden is the first to score for the Homeboys after grounding out to first, but that's enough to bring one of the Pepsi girls home and make it 1-0. Unfortunately, Chuck D gets worst play of the game as he's the only one to strike out in the game. I feel him though. Once in high school we were playing softball and it was the bottom of the 9th, 2 on base and we were down by 2. I stepped up there ready to be the hero of the game and I struck out. Not a great feeling. Anyway, the boys don't score anything despite the bases being loaded after that strikeout and Ken Griffey Jr. hitting into a double play. They change things up in the 4th inning as well and have a home run derby with just the professional baseball players, and believe it or not, only Frank Thomas is able to hit a home run to tie the game 1-1. In the 5th and final inning, things start to pick up a bit more. Flavor Flav starts things off on what should be an out, but Frank Thomas can't handle the pass, so he gets on base. Then Canseco, wielding a sandwich in one hand, hits a big double to bring Flavor Flav home. David Bryan gets a base hit to bring Canseco home to make it 3-1 for the homeboys. Sheffield hits to third, but the ball doesn't make it to first in time. Tretch's hit also can't be handled, and the bases are now loaded and nobody out. Brady Anderson comes up and flies out, but Scott Ian, despite grounding out to second, makes it 4-1. Finally, Doc drives it to right and Sheffield scores to end the top of the 5th 5-1. The away boys have some work to do, but start off great with Dan Cortez getting on first. But then Brett Michaels hits into a double play. Barry Bonds hits down the line for a double, and later Zappa gets a hit to bring Bonds home. Don't call it a comeback. No, seriously, don't call it a comeback because Ventura grounds out to end the game 5-2 for the homeboys. Each side had co-MVPs, with Flavor Flav and Jose Canseco winning it for the homeboys, and Frank Thomas and Zappa getting MVP for the away boys. The 90s. What a time to be alive.
After lots of great shaves, when the twin blades finally get dull, you just throw the whole razor away.
Can we have lots more track, please? Good. Okay. Can we start over now?
This is Hands of God, and no, it's not a documentary about Diego Maradona. It is a religious ventriloquist convention from 2003 and feels more like a Christopher Guest film than it does a documentary.
But you know truth when you see it. Well, you know truth when you read scripture.
I've never studied the art of puppetry, but isn't a big part of it not moving your mouth? We also see some people learning about God in class, which looks like something straight out of the documentary Jesus Camp. While watching this, I had a deep thought. Isn't God just like all our puppeteer, man?
Did you like being in Mexico? Yes, it was real nice, but I never knew it'd be so poor. Well, it's always poor down there.
Oh boy, let's check out some other puppets.
We're just not seen.
I so badly want to hear this guy do the voice of this particular puppet, but they never show it. I'm sure it would totally be fine and not racially insensitive at all. They then cut to what I can only assume is a terrorist demands video, and then we get Colonel Sanders looking down upon this couple. The kids put on a dance routine that is meant to deter other kids from guns and knives and choose dance instead. It's kinda like a self-defense class that was taught by the Jets and the Sharks.
It's always good to make it real to life.
Might want to have a quick peek under this guy's floorboards. One of my favorite moments in this entire 17-minute video is this guy painting a cross and sort of explaining how he makes it look real. And then he says this.
Everybody thinks it's like a piece of, it was easy. It wasn't easy, you know? Because just the wood itself, I mean, let alone the nails and all the stuff he went through, you know?
Being crucified? Who thinks that would be easy? To wrap up the Hands of God video, I'm going to leave you with this quote from someone there that needs no follow-up joke. It feels like a Michael Scott quality one-liner, but said with the utmost sincerity.
I would rather deal with 10,000 stone-cold idiots that know they need help than try to lead one wannabe righteous one to the Lord.
With ham salad and chewchilla, the Wookiee monster, as they make their daring getaway.
Task to my flowchart, I draw this box with the mouse and enter the name of the new task from the keyboard.
We're the Treehouse Trolls.
This is the Treehouse Trolls, and it's the whole reason why I'm doing this channel surfing video in the first place. I planned on doing a video on specifically this VHS tape that I had as a kid, but there wasn't quite enough content to validate doing an entire video for it. This was a memory I had buried for a long time until I saw someone posting about it on Facebook. You see, my uncle is a writer, and back in the 90s he was doing movie reviews, which meant he was sent a lot of VHS tapes to watch and review, which culminated with our basement being filled with boxes of tapes. Friends and family would come over and browse and borrow them as if we had our own little Blockbuster in the basement. I've already spoken in past videos about my fascination as a kid with weird animation and puppetry, so I was quickly drawn to this VHS tape. There was a bit of a resurgence in the Trolls toy line in the 90s, and this is a product of that. Fun fact, while I was looking this up, I saw that the Treehouse Trolls was directed by Ernie Schultz, and when I went to his IMDb page, he definitely has a niche and it's nothing to do with children's entertainment. Outside of the troll videos, he's worked on many workout tapes, including ones featuring Richard Simmons with titles like Dance Your Pants Off, which I tried to do, but I was escorted out of the gym. Anyway, now over 20 years later, I hope you'll indulge me as I look back at this potentially nightmare-inducing VHS tape. I'm sure after we watch it, no one's gonna receive a phone call saying we're gonna die in 7 days. Probably.
Who's got a birthday kiss for dear old dad, huh?
The video opens with Lisa and her brother Jackie. Turns out it's Lisa's birthday tomorrow, and Jack is kind of a little shit about it.
Lisa, nobody cares about your silly old birthday. Now go to sleep.
This prompts Lisa to wish it was also Jackie's birthday tomorrow so he won't be jealous.
And with that opens the final seal to the troll world.
Two twin trolls who look like they have the mumps begin singing how it's their birthday, because in Trollland, or wherever they are, there is one day where everyone celebrates their birthday. Their dad is this one with the blue hair, and their mom is this one with the pink hair. Just pointing out that doesn't add up. The dad troll may want to start asking questions to the mom troll, but that's just me. Anyway, the twins wish that their friends Lisa and Jackie were there for their birthday, so Papa Troll here makes a call to Wumpus, who is this red mullet looking troll who lives in Jack and Lisa's room. Wumpus wakes up the kids and takes them to the troll land after shrinking them down. They start doing this weird high-five dance as their troll eyes stare deep into your soul. Everybody here is so goddamn happy, except this bitch. This is the queen of Trollland and her servant Snoogle. She hates birthday day, so she puts the royal phooey on the day and proclaims there will no longer be birthday day in the forest of fun and wonder. Just a side note, this has got me wondering whatever happened to these costumes. Do you think they're still around, hanging in someone's warehouse or something? These are the important questions we need to start asking Congress. Anyway, Wumpus and the kids find out about the ban on birthday day after Snoogle here starts hanging no birthday signs around the forest, and everyone starts complaining about the queen. I love how in this kids show there's an established monarchy in the land, and the common folks want to revolt and put her head on a stake. They don't say that exactly, but I can read between the lines. I want to know more about the politics behind this troll land. What wars were fought to make the current queen queen? Sorry, I'm straying from the plot again. Instead of putting the queen's head on a stake, they come up with the idea to get a potion from a gypsy with a gold-capped tooth, as one does. They get the potion from the gypsy, which we don't see because I assume they didn't have the budget for another troll costume. This potion will turn the queen's mood around. This is about the time I started to question what am I doing. It's 3:30 on a Sunday afternoon and I'm recapping a children's VHS tape from the 90s. This was just a quick pause for an existential life crisis I'm having. Now back to the show. Wumpus spikes the queen's tea. She's starting to feel real good, and then the potion starts turning the queen younger and younger until she's a little baby who reinstates birthday day. But little Jackie here has learned his lesson and thinks everyone should have their own birthday day. And they're down for it, so today they're just gonna celebrate Lisa's birthday. And if you're a returning viewer from my other channel surfing videos, you know there just has to be a rap. And luckily for all of us, the parents provide that rap while the kids do a hip-hop dance.
We're having a birthday jubilee, so won't you come hip-hop with me?
I always assumed the first rap music I listened to was 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying album, but as it turns out, the first rapper I was introduced to was Papa Troll. I love it when you call me Big Papa Troll. They all decide to play pin the tail on the donkey, and the donkey comes to life and says his name is Donald the Dancing Donkey, and he's just wearing long johns with his ass flap hanging open. Note for parents at home, don't hire a weird donkey stripper for your kid's birthday party, and if he just happens to show up, call the police immediately. Strangely, this character stuck with me through the years because he was the one thing I remembered about this tape. Lisa opens all her gifts, and there's a wide range of interesting gifts.
Here you go! This one here is filled with the spark of imagination! Oh. And under here, why, this one is filled with fond memories! And this one is love and affection!
I really hope they kept the receipt. Anyway, as soon as she blows out her candles, the clock goes off because it's sundown, so visitors to Trollland need to get the fuck out. I wonder what happens at night here. So many unanswered questions. They're transported back to their bedrooms and live a happily ever after. And that's it for this channel surfing video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe. For everyone that likes this video, may you have a donkey stripper appear at your next birthday party. Bye everyone.